I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters, and we ain't got nothing to hide.
What up? What up? What up? Hope everyone's doing well here. It's Pregaming. It is Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. And somebody's pulling into my driveway at the worst possible time imaginable. So let's see if we can get through the show today. Sorry, I'm not going to be able to answer the door, man. Sorry. What a terrible time to show up. Anyways, hope everyone's doing well. Here we go at Sports Money. We're rolling into Tuesday. It's July the 8th. We're back to a business as usual week. And lots of things to come here this week here. We've got the VB MMA picks, Ramon Scott show featuring your boy here, Pimp Slap POD. Giving out some UFC Nashville breakdowns and analysis for 3 fights on the card. We're going to get some golf programming out to you guys tonight. The Scottish Open is the big segue into the British Open, also known as the Open Championship. And, of course, we're going to get you guys rolling with some first strike plays tomorrow to get involved in this UFC Nashville Sports Money team side of things. Then we'll roll into the weekend. Of course, we're going to have a live show Saturday for UFC Nashville. Guests are already lining up. It's going to be a lot of fun to get involved with that. And, of course, this afternoon, got to shoot with Sharpie. Got to put out the K-Props and RBI game today. So I loaded up the card. I gave out 5 plays today that I also parlayed. I think the parlay was like 114-1, something like that. So, hey, nothing wrong with having a long shot. Just a little something to have some fun. I always hate when the first leg loses right away, though. That makes it disappointing. It's disappointing because I'll still peep the line. I'll still look to see what it's doing, but it's certainly disappointing when you've got like a 5 or 6 legger and everything's cashing except that first leg. So sometimes it's better that way, though. Then you run it back and you do what you got to do. So in any event, we're going to run it back tonight. Feels very eerily reminiscent of last week here. We had a small loss yesterday, just under a unit, around 0.7 units to be specific. We will be transparent. We will give you guys that recap every day. That is our currency in this business here. No shuffling nuts. No telling you to look over there. Well, we're dropping winners over here. No trying to scam you guys with 3%, 4%, 5% plays. We're not scamming you guys by asking you to pay $99 for 3 days of action. We're just trying to give you free bets here. And if you do want to support us, there's opportunities to do that by other means as well. So let's get to it. Probably the straightest shooters in the business here at Sports Money. I think that's fair to say over almost 2-year period. October will be 2 years of rocking at 6 p.m. giving you guys, listen, just plays that we're making. Opportunities, tracking it as well, showing everybody what that looks like out there. Look, Milwaukee screwed us last night. That game was, it was worse. So the first 5 was under 3.5, right? We had that at lost, obviously. And the full game lost too. So it is what it is. But, it was like, what was it, like 5-0 in like the 3rd inning? And then they get like no runs. The 4th inning rolls around. Then they get into the 5th and they scored a couple runs. And then they sat there with no runs a while. It's like the 7th or 8th inning where they finally cracked over. That's the worst way to lose on an under. Hit me over the head, move me on to the next game, and let's be done with it. Not this tease me and prod me and maybe I got a shot. Maybe it was never going to be. And anyhow, that's the challenge with overs. They're under till they're over, and then it's all over. But Toronto Blue Jays made it they took it to them, boys. They put them in the woodshed. 8-4. Toronto -1 cashed for us. Then we parlayed Toronto and Kansas City +177. That cashed for us. So a couple big spots there dialed into that Toronto and that Kansas City spot out there. I think that was played to a T. The Astros, give me a little concern. Their loss. And then the Guardians team total under 3.5. Loss. 7-5 final. Clearly, Houston put all their effort into beating up on them Dodgers. That's the problem with the double dips. They look good when they cash, but man, when they lose, it's 2. Now that's the difference between the scan shops, 4%, 5%, 9%, 10%, whale of the centuries. And here is it's just 1 unit, right? So we're just flat betting. And again, I think that speaks to the record. They want to chase their losses and tell you they like this play more than the other play. I'm telling you, every time we do that, it's an out. So anyways, Texas minus 1.5 at plus 130. Average margin of victory in that spot was 4 runs a pop on that Texas Ranger side of things with Jacob deGrom. They lost outright 6-5. Fortunately, we laid the run line at plus 130. Even money loss. Arizona came out there and thumped San Diego. We talked about that. We were on that side. We finished the night out pretty strong out there. Arizona gets it done for us. The under 7.5 in the Phillies game gets it done for us. Phillies took the L. It was a little chalky yesterday. There was a lot of reverse line movement. Turns out those were a lot of the right plays. And then the Phoenix Mercury got that. We talked about the spot. It was a perfect spot. Immediate revenge, bounce back. You're at home versus being on the road the previous game. I mean, all of that lined up, and they thumped them. By 30 points, they thumped them. So good stuff yesterday. Despite a losing day, I thought we saw the card pretty well. Obviously, one play away from that scratch mark of being up or being down. So we're not going to hide it. Going to come out here on screen, going to own it. I hate it, but hey, look, the week before it started out, I think in a similar fashion. We came out, what were we down last Monday? Minus 0.86 units. So, hey, this is why we grind. We're grinders. Not going to over risk. Not going to put too much on it and ruin our edge. Not going to get beat up for losing a unit here or there. We're going to go out there and fire. I'll tell you what, I thought a good fire today. I took the over 2.5 at halftime in that Chelsea game, even though we know Chelsea is on my F off forever list. And I had the over 2.5 at like plus 140. I was like, all right, it's 1-0 at halftime. They scored 10 minutes into the second half. Now the under 2.5 was plus 190. And I was like, you know what? Wouldn't it just be Chelsea not to score another goal for the rest of the game? They didn't. It finished 2-0. Sometimes that's betting. You find the right spots, and even if they're not the right spots, you can find a way to tail or hedge and fade or play, as they say in the business. So we're going to get after it. You guys are getting down to it here. 58 days till the NFL. 40. I saw today 91 days till the NHL pops off out there. So we are getting down to it. We're almost through these dog days. July 8th. But, listen, it's the summertime. We got to enjoy the time that we have in front of us while we have it. What else is going on in the world? Well, listen, this is just a universal. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. I'm going to run the clip. Ramon's a little more gingerly with the clip than I am, but this is breaking news. Signed into legislation today. No more taking your shoes off when you go through the TSA at the airport. That's just fucking good business. What a pain in the ass. I thought that was worthy of breaking news. I'm excited about it. I don't travel as much as I used to, but man, that was a pain in the ass. The laptop's got to come out of the bag. When you're traveling for business, the laptop's got to come out. The belt's got to come off. The watch has got to come off. The phone's got to be set separately. The shoes got to come off. Anything else that you're carrying electronic, you got to have a fucking charging cord in your bag. So that means your bag's going to get flagged because it looks like a bomb. Thank goodness. Just reduce the burden of travel just a little bit for us out there. And I was excited for that. I thought that was breaking news worthy in my estimation. So anyways, let's get to it, you guys. We got plenty of action to move on with here. There was a morning game for the WNBA. Let me tell you guys something. Some people think they can just pop on a camera and go live and people will find you on YouTube, and it doesn't work that way. Right? We got to be consistent. You see Sports Money, we're consistent. Don't just fucking throw it on a Wednesday because we got 2 plays to give out and then you don't see us for a week and a half. We're not those guys. We're giving you shows. We're giving you the content that we believe in, that you guys are here to see on a regular basis, and we help you know when to see it, right? 6 p.m., you're going to see Pregaming. The fucking WNBA, you're struggling with ratings as it is. You pop a game off at 11:30 a.m. on a Tuesday? Am I the only person in the fucking world that didn't even realize it was happening and scratching my head trying to figure out what significance of Tuesday was? Like, what are you doing? Help the audience. Help me bet on it, because we've been having a hell of a WNBA season. What were you doing? 11:30. And I would have been on the Sky. You have to now. They've flipped the gear. You know, they're a bad team, but these me-bounds and what we've seen now, the villain has become the princess, the villainess to princess in the WNBA with my girl, Angel Reese. Fucking 15, 16, 17 me-bounds now. I mean, shit. She's marketing a shirt line called Me-Bounds. I mean, it's great. I didn't see it. By the time I realized there was shit going on at 11:30, it was fucking half over. I was like, I'm not betting on this now. They were plus 6.5. They almost won the damn game outright. Get your shit together, WNBA. Help us help you. Help me build my bankroll. Damn it. Unbelievable. Okay, games we're going to get into today. We've got a big slate of MLB. We've got one WNBA game, so we will get some action in there. I might have two looks. I've got one definitely. Should have got more water, but that's my problem. So Tampa Bay and the Tigers going to pop off at 6:40 p.m. Nice little trendage there. Might even have a little double dipper for you guys. The Dodgers and the Brewers will pop off. The Pittsburgh Pirates and Kansas City Royals in a I'm not saying unusual, surprisingly high-scoring game for sure. But is it really? When we saw this Pittsburgh team battle the zeros for 6-7 games straight? Not really. And I think Kansas City bats woke up a little bit down there in the desert when they were playing Arizona. So, yeah, it was over, but we were on Kansas City, and I didn't expect the runs to be scored the way they were. We'll talk about that game tonight. We've got action in the Jays and White Sox game out there. Nailed that Toronto -1 spot last night. Cleveland and Houston, the surprise of the night there was Cleveland coming through with the big old upset. Scoring runs, pitching let them down out there. I thought they had their spot with their kid in game one of the series to start, especially at home. Atlanta and the A's. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to see if I can find it. I have no official play in that game. I'm going to have a play in that game. I think I know how I want to play that game. We just have to talk it out loud. Maybe you guys can help me get on the right spot in that game, because I'll tell you, I don't want to jump too quickly to, do a quick side on this thing. So we'll see. And then we'll close her up in Major League Baseball with the Phillies and the San Francisco Giants. We will move on to the WNBA. I believe it's a 10 p.m. start with the Aces and Liberty. Man, we are literally, gosh, I can't even think of what the record is right now. I know we got another WNBA winner. I want to say are we like 11-4 in our last 15 or something like that? It was 8-4 a couple days ago, and we've just been firing ever since. So it's been good to us. So we're going to stay with it. We'll talk some WNBA action here tonight. But now's my favorite part of the show. You guys know the deal here. We're going to talk about these chat best bets. Before we do, we need your support. I mentioned there's a lot of ways to support the Sports Money Squad here. Thankless gig. We love you guys becoming members to support us here. And, certainly we've got enhanced memberships, silver and gold packages out there. Try to give some extra plays throughout the day, especially the afternoon, like baseball slates and the Saturday and Sunday slates when this show's not happening and there's action to be had. We want to certainly support those that believe in us and support us. And then you can certainly find Winnable. Find me at Winnable. Find MMA Jeff at Winnable. And, we're just trying to go out there and give you guys some of our best bets. Maybe they fall outside of this time slot again, and we want to make sure that you guys can get that action that we're playing. And so sometimes angles don't pop up until the last minute, and this is a great way for us to efficiently communicate those plays to everybody by way of, hey, you choose whether you want an email or text, but when I post them, you get them. Nonetheless, those are post-show productions. In show, the most important thing, really bottom line, most important thing is the thumbs up button. That's how you let YouTube know we're here. That's how we stay relevant in the YouTube business. And it only takes you a second and it costs you absolutely nothing. So just do me a favor at this point, hit that thumbs up button and then we'll get into this show. of our boys came at me trying to talk a little shit about one of our guys, and I had to do a little of this. That's why I was on the text when don't talk shit about our guys. I'll talk shit about your guys. You don't talk shit about our guys. Anyways, guys, listen, best bets time is up, so make sure you get your pen and paper out. Let's see what these plays are. I told you, my favorite part of the show. I love to shout you guys out, see what plays are on, and then maybe live vicariously through your picks if I am not involved in those spots. So let's get to it. Nicholas Handy's here. Ken Wood's here. AOD's here. Let's go. Mitch Morber says Ellie over at half a stolen bases. I ran right back to Ellie De La Cruz today in some action. I had him yesterday for hits, runs, RBIs. He did not get there. I think, you missed him one day, you got to go right back to him, Mitch. I think that's a good look, my guy. Good luck to you tonight. AOD says, Mike M. the Machine. What's up, AOD? Let us slap these books indeed. Jay Main's in the house. Peter Gracia is here. Trevor Davis. Redbeard is here as well with some action for us. He likes Manny over 1.5 bases. He likes the Marlins money line. He likes Tampa first 5. Non-legacy. Non-legacy, you know what? In your honor, I do have a parlay. Let me read this off real quick. I'll read this off. You guys know the deal. That correspondingly now pulling out of my driveway, realizing, hey, I didn't even hear him knock. Anyways, let's go. Let's get this 7-leg 27-1 parlay underway for you guys here. Willie Warren, New York Yankees, 6+ strikeouts. Hunter Brown, 6+ strikeouts. Seth Lugo, 6+ strikeouts. Yandy Diaz, the Tampa Bay Diaz, 2+ hits, runs, RBIs. Rami Gonzalez out there for the Red Sox, 2+ hits, runs, RBIs. There's Ellie De La Cruz. I told you, I went right back to him. 2+ hits, runs, RBIs. And George Springer, 2+ hits, runs, RBIs. Hey, we did it last week. It was 39-1. We're going to try to do it again this week. It's about 27-1. So good luck. Maybe get back and listen to that. But 9 legacy, there you go, my guy. There's a big parlay for you. Peter Gracia says, Sox, the GM going to see 1 and 2 inches of rain. Big. Team total over coming 8 to 9 p.m. Was that big TSTTO? Peter Gracia, you got me with the Sox. I want to see, make sure you're in the car when it's raining. You don't want to be at the bar. Fulton bets in that, Futon bets, I'm sorry. Jesus. Trevor Story over 1.5 total bases. I got to get together here, boys. I got this guy pulling in and out of the fucking driveway. Oh, let's go, you guys. The Futon bets, though. Trevor Story over 1.5 total bases. Robert McCormick, shout out to you. Marcus McCarthy. What's up, Marcus? Trevor says, I told you the Guardians was going to win. Yeah, they certainly did. Ignatius Pennyfeather the 7th says, sports money. He likes Bobby Witt for an RBI tonight. Peter Gracia says, early, as you said, Mike, but is Toronto going to win the AL East? That would be cool. I heard somebody talk today about the Cubs, or not the Cubs, the the Tigers. Detroit Tigers winning the AL today. And I said, man, we put that future down 2 weeks ago. Peter Gracia says WNBA on fire. There we go, Pete. I hope you're making that money. Joe W's here. Can't wait for the NFL, says Peter Gracia. Let's go. Jeff Matthews in the house. Jay Main laughing. Silent Rob says, we streaming tonight. Sharpie's working tonight. We're not streaming tonight. Not tonight. Peter Gracia says, travel is a hassle now. True. 9/11 changed. Yeah. Yeah, but the shoes, man. I guess it depends, right? But when you got to tie them up and untie them, then you got your, not easily skeeved out by some shit, but I don't know. It just seems inherently filthy when you're walking across the floor with that dirty floor with everyone's dirty feet. That kind of fucking skeeves me out. I don't know why people charge for feet pics and shit. I don't want to see people's feet. I don't see those nasty fucking dirty toenails and ugh. Mitch Mortimer is getting us back on track though. His plays today: Tampa Bay money line, the Yankees money line, and the under 9. Milwaukee, Algonquin for the good land. And he likes Stevie Ray Kwan, 2+ hits, runs, RBIs. Manny, Man Dog, 2+ hits, runs, RBIs, and LA total base, stolen base. All right. Jay Main says, heard sports money is money. Shout out. Andrew G's laughing at the WNBA. Redbeard says, cash the third quarter under and fourth quarter over in that 11:30 game. And Peter agrees the marketing is terrible. I mean, just help us. Just help us know when the hell the damn game's on. Nasty Nate's chilling. Just chilling, watching hoops by the sea in the men's league battle out there. Trevor Davis says Atlanta money line. Jeff Matthews, the last 50 road favorites below 500 that just got swept at home are 38-12, huh? Braves minus 120 over the Athletics, huh? Let's get it, says Irish King. Tech B, give me the Mets team total over. Dodgers, Brewers over. Cubs and Astros. Irish King says, who home runs? Top 3. Atlanta for Trevor Davis. Gonzo's in the house. What up, Gonzo? Hope you're doing well, my guy. Tech B says, I'm adding Pirates, Royals under. Padres. Jeff Matthews likes Kershaw under 16.5. J-Man likes Rami. Gonzo's on Detroit money line, the Yankees money line, the Padres money line, and the Atlanta money line for Gonzo. Nasty Nate's in the house. He says the Sox are going to smash. Let's go. Peter Barry's in the house. Barry Roselle's up in here as well. It's time to go. Let's go. AOD, I'm not a feet dude at all. I was scrolling through Twitter the other day, not at 10:30 at night. Twitter time. Sometime between 6:30 a.m. and 9:30 p.m. or so. And some girl posted a video, and she was at the gas station, and she was like, yeah, some guy, she told the story. It's not my story. It's her story, so I'm not going to retell it. The bottom line is some dude paid for her gas and asked her to give her some feet pics. She never heard of it before. She was like, I was laughing. He asked how much I charged for my feet pics. She's like, I never even thought about it. Disgusting, man. There's some fucking deviant creatures out there. I'm not judging. Maybe I just did, but I'll tell you what. I'm only going to judge you if you sell 3 days of pics for $100, like some of these fucking big sites are. You know the worst part? I love you guys, so I'll tell you, hey, we're in the trust tree, right? You pay those people $99 for pics. You know that the capper actually only gets like $30 of it? Think about that. All the more reason. That's why they got the big marketing, the big infrastructure. They can pay everybody. Because they're keeping so much of the damn work from the capper. Show your support to us. Support the squad here at Sports Money. And anybody that we affiliate with. We don't affiliate with them, fuck them. So anyways, Tampa Bay and Detroit, we're going to pop this thing off here. And we got ourselves the little 6:30 action. So 6:40 action. So this game's right about to pop. You know the deal. We're going to look at line movement, cash flow splits, injury updates, any other analysis that we think is relevant as we try to make informed betting decisions. This game has gotten from a 7.5 to an 8 with 91% of the bets and 83% of the cash on the over. Tampa Bay started as a minus 105, has now moved to a plus 110. And you're a little split here. 34% of the bets are on the Tampa Bay Rays, but 54% of the cash. Therein lies the question. What the hell's going on? Now, Tampa Bay yesterday, it was a sneaky spot. It was a sneaky spot. A lot of people like Tampa, myself included. Tampa got punched in the mouth. 5-1. Personally, I think this is a bounce back spot for Tampa Bay. Personally. And I really have no validation point behind it other than the Tigers have just been running so damn red hot that, man, you figure they got to take their foot off the gas a little bit as they get ready to coast into the All-Star break. You know, they're not all All-Stars on that team. On the other side of things, the Rays, I told you, my process of frustration here comes down to that they screwed me on that series against Minnesota. I won one of the games, but I bet them all 3 times. And one time I had an under, and it went over. So, yesterday they had Baz on the bump. Probably their best chance to have won that game on top of everything else. I've never really been a Flaherty fan. I guess that's probably part of my challenge as I look at this game. Now, he's got a 4.84 ERA. They got Pepio, though, on the other side. I'm a Pepio fan. I do like some Pepio. Look, I don't want to overcomplicate this game. I just thought the one way to play this was the most appropriate way to play this here. I got to take the under 8. Now, for what it's worth, Stu Shearwater is the home plate empire. He loves unders for the home team. 90 and 68 when the home team is in the favorite position. 90 and 68. It's a little bit of a 58% edge as well. I don't need much edge for these two teams here. I expect this to be a lower scoring game. I thought the other play that I was going to add to it was parlaying Tampa with Detroit. I just don't know if I believe in. It wouldn't surprise me as we get closer to the All-Star break that Detroit just pulls back on the throttle a little bit and starts to kind of take their eye off the prize here for a couple of days. They come back, they're focused, they're ready to go. It's a good squad, no doubt. And I do think Tampa will challenge in that AL East a little bit more as we see the Yankees continue to bottom out a little bit there. And they're going to get some pitching staff back. I forgot who it was. Coming back, he's got his IL rehab start scheduled for, I think it was Thursday. So I do expect this Tampa Bay pitching staff to get a little deeper, but I don't know. In any event, I'm going to take the under. That's how we're going to pop off this card here today. I think it's an appropriate under to get involved with here. I like the way it looks. I like the way it sounds. I like the way it feels. See, touch, feel type of guy. Kinesthetic learner. Jay Main. Louis Heel. Mitch Morber. Says Flaherty got smashed last time seeing Tampa. That game ended 14-8. Yeah. Shout out to Laker Boy 1. Says best show on the internet. Thanks, man. Jay Main. Augustin Ramirez. 3+ hits, runs, RBIs, plus 120. You know, speaking of that Yankees game, and since you've got 3+ in there, you took a little bit of the extended line, Jay Main. I kind of like Cal Raleigh tonight to get 2+ RBIs. I kind of like Cal Raleigh extended line on anything for 2 reasons. Now, I know I've got the Will Warren 6+ Ks in the parlay, but this is a big matchup for Cal Raleigh. He's been under the radar and more productive and effective than Ohtani and Judge. He is the number 1 guy. He's treated like the number 6 guy, maybe. And so now he's got an opportunity to battle head-to-head at Yankee Stadium, on their turf, under the bright lights, getting the attention of national television, in a big market out there. It's not his birthday. So, you know, for what it's worth. But Cal Raleigh's got to have a really good look tonight across the market. Now, the reason I said 2+ is because he's like plus 110 for his RBIs. So, you know, what are you going to do? I'm going to take the over. I'm going to zigzag. And I hope I don't get caught in the zigzag trap. That's all I can say here. I talked yesterday about frankly, the shitting of the bed on the pitching staff from the Dodger side of things here. Peralta did his job. He shut him down, literally. And it should have just been a Milwaukee spot. Fuck that one up. No gimmies, no give backs. Just fuck that one up. And, you know, part of the cap was dialed in the fact that these Dodgers bats are kind of a mess. Now, they're strong, but they're injured. So they got big ISO numbers, which means when they do make contact, they're going to get, 2+ bases. Boy, though, man. Clayton Kershaw, Clay the Great, isn't so great any longer as he starts this thing off here. So I got to get involved with this over. We'll talk about a big trend here. And it really just comes down to the Dodgers. The second game of a series are an over team. Now, this line opened up for the Brewers at plus 100. Dodgers were minus 120. Reverse line movement. 65% of the bets, 79% of the cash are on the Dodgers. I got to believe the Dodgers just need to get to the All-Star break. That team's loaded on paper. They're just between injuries and who's on first and what's on second. They just couldn't find their way out of a paper bag right now. And the total's got 93% of the bets and 82% of the cash on the over. I talked about Clayton the Great, and it's Mizorowski on the other side of things here. Look, Kershaw gets that 3.43 ERA and in 9 starts. He's been pretty solid. However, his FIP is fucking through the roof. 4.34 FIP. His hard hit rates are down. His K rates are. He's just getting old. Clayton Kershaw is just getting old. And his average fastball now, if you want some validation behind it, the velocity on his fastball is averaging around 89 miles an hour. Pretty much his career worst. That White Sox game, he allowed 4 runs on 9 hits. You can't be inspired by that. That was not an awe-inspiring start for this guy. So, then you look at the Brewers and they crush lefties. The last 3 weeks, they're one of the best teams, if not the, with a 419 OBA, a 173 WRC plus, a 972 OPS, and a batting average that's almost 350. And so they don't strike out. They show plate discipline. They're one of the best teams in Major League Baseball. You're going to get runs from the Brewers. The question is, can we get runs? And we got the bullpen, by the way. I don't want to minimize the shitting of the bed that this bullpen is here. Over the last 2 weeks for the Dodgers, they're 5.86. So what are we going to see from Mizorowski? That's going to be the guy. He gave up 5 runs his last out, 2 homers, 3 walks, not showing command or control. His FIP, by the way, 4.46 is another situation where it's over 1 point higher than his ERA. So those are just kind of some leading indicators. Now, we talked about BABIP. And this is where I think the rubber meets the road, or this is where you can't. It's like we talked about in hockey. How can a bad team? Remember when we were betting the Red Wings, and it was like their expected scoring chances against their bad luck breaks. The metrics behind those were like, this team can't continue to lose like this. At some point, they got to flip through. This is where I feel the case is with Mizorowski. His BABIP, right? So basically, it's when a guy makes contact, is the ball getting in play or not, right? It's a 1.22. So for a guy that's got a batting average or an ERA of over 3.2 and a FIP of 4.46, he's just getting lucky, is what it comes down to. And he's been striking dudes out at an alarming rate too. So somewhere in between, shit's going to fall apart for this dude. I can't get involved on the Brewers tonight. Can't do it. Just, those numbers don't make sense. Now, the Dodgers with those bats, despite the injuries, they're still crushing righties at a 344 rate. So they're second in baseball at righties. 261 batting average is 4th. I mean, they're playing pretty strong. We'll see. They were averaging, though, 1.8 runs a game over their last 4 games. So I told you guys the play I'm on here. I'm invested in this over 8.5. 53 and 25 are the Dodgers to the over in a second game of a series. In other words, when you take the ace off the bat or off the mound for the other team, them Dodgers bats get to them, and they're powerful as heck. So we're going to ride that trend. We're going to keep that one in our back pocket. Keep it rolling. What do you guys think about that? Let's see. J-Man likes the Brew Crew minus 1.5. Yeah, I mean, I just makes me a little nervous. Mitch Morris said that was in Tampa Bay, so I don't expect runs in Detroit like in Tampa. Yeah, I don't mind Flaherty bounce back and Pepio to pitch well. I agree. Devin Elam Moore. This is the best transparency. I appreciate that, man. Thanks. Hey, win or lose, dude. We talk more about the losers than the winners, right? But it's nice to win. We're here to win. Nathan Sturgis says, yeah, I just feel things will open up. Should go over. Brewers, Contreras over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Nathan Sturgis says, intersecting zeros. I just, so that's kind of where some of these spots, the old soccer fade came through. It's Friday play. It's a Friday play. All right. Jerry Davis says that, Mikey, I found that you have to be careful with FIP and expected numbers on lefty starters. I don't know why, but pitchers like Kershaw, Tyler, Peterson always have better results. I don't use FIP as a general principle other than if it supports the narrative. And the narrative here is your FIP shouldn't be a full point higher than your ERA, right? So, but I agree. Now, I think to your point about why the lefties kind of are anomalies or one-offs, are because the lefties have the inherent advantage. There's only 18% of the league that's touting lefties. And so you're seeing a lefty theoretically once every, it's all theory, but applied theory says that you're seeing a lefty once every 6 games. And so they do have the advantage as a pitcher, unless you're a pile of shit, right? So that's kind of where I think it all kind of, it's art and science, right? The science is the numbers. The art is trying to figure out where do these two not line up and make sense. And whether it be this game or the next game, where we've already seen shakiness from Mizorowski, he's not a guy I want to bet on. I thought a good point. I thought it was a good point. Good conversation. I enjoy it. I love talking sports, man. You guys know I'll sit around and talk fucking sports all day. Matter of fact, I do. That's how much I like it. Excuse me. Let's keep her moving. Let's talk about this Kansas City Battle Royale. I talked about yesterday's game. Surprising with the total, not surprising with the side. Kind of was expecting that. I think these Kansas City Bats, I told you guys yesterday, this is another one of those art and science. Science will tell you they've been shitty. The art tells you that they kind of woke up in the desert and there's too many dudes on that staff that continue to be piles of shit. Science will tell you the Pirates should crush when they get a starter out there like Paul Skeens. Science also tells you he doesn't get run support. So when it's Paul Skeens' day, some people will say, well, why fade the narrative out there? Because everyone's talking about it being Paul Skeens' day and he doesn't get run support. So yeah, we want to fade that dude. But in any event, it's not Paul Skeens' day. 84% of the bets and 87% of the cash on the Kansas City Royals, and it has not moved at minus 135. Troubling. And the 8 has moved to 7.5 on some books, with all the money coming in on the over. 88% of the bets, 72% of the cash on this over. It is Mitch Keller day, though, 3.64 ERA. And it's Seth Lugo day, 2.65 ERA. I'm very high on Lugo as a overall pitching animal. I mean, that's basically what he is a fucking animal. And he goes out there and eats raw meat. So I like that. I don't know if he does literally. I just heard a rumor. So, when you look at his recent performances, yeah, we can get over the top with some of these guys, but I like his K props, and there's not a lot for me to look. I don't have to sugarcoat this fucking thing. The bottom line to me is we see bats are ice cold in Pittsburgh. They've been battling that 0 trend, and just because they came back and got themselves a nice over yesterday doesn't mean I'm ready to back them. I'm going to get involved in the under back again on this game. You don't have to get too jacked up to know that Pittsburgh doesn't hit and Kansas City's inconsistent. Now, could we be riding this train a little too long there? Is the stove getting a little too hot and we're touching it again going, well, we've been not blindly, but we've been firing on these unders. And with Pittsburgh in that shutout situation, 3 games that they shut them out and swept, 3 games they got shut out and swept, never happened before in baseball. Shit we don't see on a very regular basis. And Kansas City bats have woken up a little bit, but I'm going to buy into the fact that the Pirates bats just don't show up here. Now, Kansas City put this game over yesterday. If it wasn't for that 9 runs. And in all fairness, yeah, 6, was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shutouts on the Pirates side of things there. So I'm not going to go back to the Royals here today. I like the price tag. I think it's a suspiciously low number considering I expect Lugo to go out there and shove. So I'm going to take the under 8. Minus 115 price tag on that thing. Not offensive, not egregious. Just I was laughing as I put this thing together because lots of totals for me today. And I think that makes sense kind of as we're looking at getting towards this all-star break now. You don't know these teams' motivations, as we clearly saw evidenced yesterday. A shit ton of reverse line movement. You could have just capped the card off of reverse line movement. Even though I started to kind of dismiss it, it was, what did I say? We were 4 and 5 or 5 and 6 or something like that. 6 and 5. I don't know. Whatever. Fuck it. Yesterday. I'm going to say. So we got unders, you got overs. Unders, overs. Under. Has there been a straight side yet? There hasn't been. And there won't be until the later part of this card. So hang in there. If you like totals, today is for you. This is a Jover one. This is a shout out to my guy Jover. I know he's been dealing with some family stuff, so I hope my man is doing well. But yeah. Anybody that thought it was a White Sox spot yesterday was clearly wrong. Minus 185s have moved to minus 190s. 92% of the bets, 98% of the cash are on the Blue Jays. There was a split instance yesterday. Specifically, when it got to 1-0 on the White Sox, and I was like, fuck, because we had the -1, and then we had Toronto and Kansas City in the parlay, and I had them in a couple other pieces too, and I was like, man, am I going to get beat up by the White Sox today? No, the answer was no. 8.5 goes to 9, 95% of the bets, 95% of the cash on the over. And 8.5's out there, 9's out there. Savale, I've told the story of Savale. He was playing like shit in Milwaukee. He said he wanted out. He didn't want to go to the bullpen is what it came down to. He was playing poorly. They were going to relegate him to the bullpen. He said, trade me right fucking now. They traded him to the White Sox. He has not been playing any better. Bassett, the old Bassett Hound with a 4.32 ERA. What do you see out of this guy as well? Questions, and more questions. Now, I can tell you from a run perspective, this is a White Sox opportunity. The White Sox are 8-4 when they're playing the AL East. Plus 140 to plus 160 at home. So they like playing the AL East, and the AL East does their job because the Jays are 12-5 in this road favorite role, and the total's between an 8 and a 9. I mentioned Savale. Still 6-1 his last 7, but he just pukes up runs. That's the amazing part about it. 3.29 runs allowed per game in the stretch there. And then the White Sox find themselves 2-5. So I don't want to go back to the Jays bullpen here, or the Jays wagon. We got him yesterday. We'll take that spot out there. Look, they're 9-1 in their last 10. They're averaging over 6 runs a game. Despite the fact that the Sox are 4-6 in their last 10, they're averaging 3.5 runs a game. So collectively slap the two together. This is an over 8.5 spot for me. I think it's a good opportunity to continue to see these Jays bats stay hot. And the guy that I really like is Springer. Look for a Springer dinger tonight. He's got terrific numbers out there. Now, some guys will come back and say, well, they hit it yesterday and they should find a way to play some defense today. I'm not buying that. I just think this is two teams that White Sox can give a shit. And if you're Toronto, you're getting excited because you got swept, remember, not swept, but you got beaten by the White Sox at home 3 series ago. They fired back and they beat up the Yankees and the Angels. The bats got alive. And this is Blue Jay style. Bats come alive. Then they go on an all-star break for a week and come back and have to find themselves again and spend all season trying to figure it out. But in the meantime, give me these Toronto Jays. Give it to me at this price tag. And let's move on. What do we got next? Cleveland and Houston. I told you guys. I like Houston in this game. I like Houston to bounce back. I don't trust Houston in the bounce back spot. They are firing at home and firing with this pitcher on the bump. I think he's 6-1. But in any event, minus 222 moved to minus 200. 92% of the bets, 96% of the cash on the Astros. This total's come down from 7.5 to 7. And you have 92% of the bets, 76% of the cash on the over. So sharp bettors came in there and said, you know what? This under looks pretty enticing. It's Hunter Brown. The only way I would play the side is Hunter Brown to record the win. I'm not enthralled by laying $2 on the Astros. They beat the Dodgers. We just saw that series out there. And what are you going to do? Lay a -1, 1.5, even a -1 is going to be minus 160, 170, 180. I thought about Toronto or Houston to win the first 5. And that's still -0.5 for the first 5 is minus 150s. Still a little pricey and steep out there. So it puts you in a difficult position. It's kind of like the other day when we took the Brewers. I forgot who the pitcher was. Was it Peralta? The side didn't make sense. And the pitcher to get the win was like plus 155, right? Reasonable price tag. And he did. It was the only way I could see to get action down on that game. You're sitting around plus 105, plus 100. Pretty much even money across the slate for Hunter Brown to catch this win. But as bad as the Guardians are, they found a way yesterday to kind of flip the narrative. Now, the Stros are 11-3, their last 14 games, 19-6 over their last 25. We talked about the sluggish start to the season, so they should want to come back and fire. 27-8 are the Astros this season when they do bounce back. That's the best in the league, by the way. 77% win rate. Hasn't lost back-to-back games in a month. So, yeah, I see why the price tag is the way it is, but I chose the under. I've got the under 7.5. 3 factors behind it. They are intersecting zeros for those that love the intersecting zeros. I love the intersecting zeros. Hunter Brown's 9-0 in the under roll. Non-divisional favorites versus a team that averages less than 8.5 hits a game. You're not hitting, he mows you down. And they're averaging 5.3 runs a game. Total in those spots. So 7.5, 7s, makes sense why it's that low. Houston's 11-0 to the under in non-divisional starts if they left less than 7 runners on base the previous game. Those teams are averaging 4.4 runs total in those spots, those Astros. In other words, my correlation there is they're probably just not hitting a lot, right? Because you're not stranding runners on base and then whiffing and striking out. You're just not getting runners on base. And then Cleveland is the intersecting point here for 9-0 to the under. Basically in the dog roll. If they had a 4 or greater run lead the previous game, they can't sustain it. They're 9-0 to the under, and they're averaging 5 runs in those games. So despite this low number of 7s or 7.5s, I like it. I'm still buying in. I'm getting on board with me some under in this Houston Astros game. It's a little juicy at minus 130, but I think it's warranted. Huh. Yeah, Nathan Cerna. Oh, man, is that right? The Jays franchise record. Our guy Bo Jackson's in the house here, our resident Toronto whisperer. Wow. So they're 5-2 on the road against the AL Central. They're going for a record 11 straight. Is it possible they would lose their first game against the Athletics? Kelly V in the house. What's up, Kelly V? Trevor says it was the pitching change. Yeah, I don't disagree with that, Trevor. You're right. And they're a terrific bounce back team. I just try to give you guys the facts when it comes down to it. Kelly V says, curious if Judge and Cal Raleigh get walked. Nunya's in the house. Let's get this other fucking cash tonight. Nunya business is back. Let's go, Nunya. He's telling Bo. What was Bo on? Did I miss Bo's play? Scroll up a little bit more. Pirates can upset tonight. Oh, I don't want to hear that. I guess it doesn't matter as long as it stays under. There we go. Tampa Bay 1-0 is what the squad is saying. Aranda, rather. That guy's a fucking machine. White Sox are 2-2 at home against the AL East. Yeah, it looks like it's Jays. All right. Redbeard doesn't mess with 7.5s. I don't mind 7.5s. I don't like 6.5s. I won't fuck with the 6.5. I just won't do it, regardless of the situation and circumstances. Let's go. Vitalis is in the house. Says, who just threw more on the Rays live? Kelly V, like San Francisco -1, Houston moneyline, Texas -121, and a Rosarania to go out there and bomb. Giving you guys a home run look in that. It's another spot, another interesting position out there, given the circumstances, right? Given the circumstances with the squad. All right. I'm going to tell you guys, I like the Cubs. I haven't officially pulled the trigger on it yet. We do have reverse line movement. 87% of the bets and 95% of the cash are on the Cubs. It's come down 7 cents. The 8.5s moved to 9.5s with 90% of the bets, only 75% of the cash on the over. So some bigger money coming in on this under. Look, it's Imanaga, 2.78 ERA. Gotta like what that kid's been doing. Simeon Woods Richardson, 4.41 ERA. Don't like what that kid's been doing. What I struggle with fundamentally here is when the Twins finally heat up, they heat up in bunches. And that's been I've been struggling with that. So I just got to get this right in my head here real quick. And then I'll probably fire on the Cubs. Gosh, yeah. You know what? The challenge I have with this spot is that the Twins, I think, do have the better bullpen. And I like Imanaga over Simeon Woods Richardson. So Maybe this is a first 5 spot. Whenever the total moves a full run like that, I like to go the other direction. I think it's an overreaction. The problem I have with the full game here is Byron Buxton shows up as a guy that should absolutely nuke the ball tonight. So the Cubs are 11-2 in Imanaga's 13 non-divisional road starts. Plays well on the road, and they're outscoring teams 5.5 to 2.7. They play well. They show up for this guy. All right. They won 7 of those games, by the way, those Imanaga games, by 2 or more runs. So he is shutting down the offense. I just don't want to get the bullpens in play. Twins have lost 8 straight against left. All right. And Imanaga's got a 0.98 ERA on the road. Woods Richardson's OPS is 0.22 points higher versus lefties. Jeez, do you isolate that matchup like that? Can we get the first 5 at? Let's see what the first 5 looks like here for this Cub spot. I'm going to think on it. Gosh, minus 140s. Plus 155 for Imanaga to catch the win. Ooh, and then it drops to 145s and 135s, huh? I think I'm going to play that. We got a few minutes to decide as we finish off this card here. I know I said all that about the bullpen and everything else too. I can't lay 140 on the first 5 for a team where your key bats and Tucker, Hop, Bush, and Crow Armstrong are all lefties, and Woods Richardson's. It'd have to be first 5 or nothing. I don't know. We'll come back to it. I guess we'll come back to that. That's it. You guys can see live decision-making and thinking process going on out there. That's why they have to be a short list. Let's go into, let's talk about this Philly and San Francisco game. Get this one off the books here for us. This one just comes down to a fade spot when it comes to this Phillies pitcher and this matchup. I think they've lost 12 straight. It's another team that's got the All-Star break coming down the corner. Taijuan Walker, not a winner for this organization in this position out there. And they're pretty sizable road dogs, which kind of tells you everything you need to know. Now, Robbie Ray as the lefty, that's a big spot. That's I think the big advantage in the matchup there. Does support San Francisco in this case. And they did catch that win yesterday. It was low scoring. We were on that under. I don't like to go back to the same play twice. I know some guys will keep banging the same thing over and over and over. And it's not my style. Although there have been some spots where we future read these things, like Seattle tonight. If you want to fade them Yankees during that stretch of 16, this would be a great spot to just keep hitting away of fading the Yankees. Now, you're not playing the same team. You're fading them, boys. And this line is moving. It's oscillating. 68% of the bets, 61% of the cash are on the Giants. Totals move from 7.5 to 8.5. 75% of the bets, 74% of the cash are on the over. So the 7.5's moved to 8.5. To me, again, I'd have to be looking at the under, but Taijuan Walker's the cog in this wheel. 2.68 ERA for Robbie Ray. Walker with that 3.64. And again, the fade position. Can't underestimate a team when they're in an 0 and I think it's 0 and 11 or 0 and 12. I didn't write it down. Let me look. Let me see if I can find it really quick. Okay. Can never find anything really quick. Nothing's ever really quick. Damn. I'm on the Giants in this game. 140s are out there. It was a little juicy. If you can't get under a 140, if you can't get a 140 or better, fine with the -1. I locked in a 140. Gosh, what do I want to do with that Cubs game? All right, listen, let's go really quick here. Last closing thoughts. Twofold, Atlanta and the A's. God, this number has been skyrocketing. The total, that is. And I get it. bum on the mound when it comes to the Diddler, whatever, for this Atlanta Braves team. This dude is a walking ERA. I mean, he's a walking home run. Atlanta minus 120 has come down. It's oscillated because it's gone up on the A side of things. 54% of the bets, 59% of the cash. All right, I think I know what I'm going to do now. This 10.5 went up to 11s. I even saw 11.5s out there with 67% of the bets and 73% of the cash on the over. It's Springs. It's Fuentes. Diddler. I'm not sure how to say it, but dude, I laughed about it on Sharpie Show today. I was like, man, you got to look at this thing. And despite the A's, now you're in Oakland or you're in Sacramento, right? We know it's a hitter-friendly ballpark, so we should see runs. And we should see those runs from everybody. So the total I thought was in play, but some recent unders from this athletic side of things here. That San Francisco team, they scored 11 runs the first game and they only got 4 the following 2 total. The Braves have been struggling to do anything productive. They scored 1 run and a loss, 2 runs and a loss. They did get a 6 and a loss and then a 1 and a loss. All right, here's the deal. I'm going to take the Athletics. I'm going to take them at that plus 104. I don't like the Athletics as a dog or as a favorite. I don't want to get involved in the Athletics game when you're laying a minus 110. Look at the other day. It was like the biggest fucking sharp trap in the world. Everyone was going on to Oakland. They were minus 110s, minus 112s. And people were firing on them. Not me. Can't do it when they're in the favorite role. I'll take them in this spot. I know I don't have a graphic for it. I think I forgot to fast forward a couple of graphics here. Let's see. Well, there's the A's. There's the A's and Athletics. I do have one out there. I just think this is an Athletics team that's got the All-Star break coming up. They need a little break. They'll regroup. They'll recoup. They'll get themselves moving in the right direction the second half of the season to compete down the stretch in the NL East. But that's another team I just don't know how much they care right now. I know that some of these guys, selfishly, when you're standing in the, Rileys and Acunas and Azunas, Olsen's in a revenge spot, I guess, technically. I think the revenge spot for pitchers more than batters. But anyways, we'll take that shot. And then let's go close this thing up here. Let's talk about this last game on the card here. We've been fortunate with the WNBA. We're going to keep riding with some of these steam-related moves out there. That's really been the big key to our success here. We're going to fire on this under between these two squads. This is one of those spots where they just played. And it's kind of one of those feelings that I've talked to you guys before about when they set the line and it sailed over the number. The last time they played, it was, I think it was a 170. And so here you go. We got this number being set at 166. And it sailed over the number prior to. We're going to just go back in there. We're going to take a shot. I'm not a big Liberty fan right now. I know they won this thing. And now that they're the defending champs, everyone's going out there trying to take down the champ. But, 2-7 against the spread on the road. 4-5 for the Aces on the road. At the end of the day, I like being under in this spot. These teams are pretty comparably matched too. 10-8 to the over for the Liberty, 8-10 to the under for the Aces. And, what have we seen? 3 of the last 5 for the Liberty have gone under. 4 of the last 5 have gone under for the Aces. And again, this total was brought down from the last time that they played. So anytime we see that after the number goes over, the books are telling you. We learned that in the NBA this year. I'm going to ride with it to close up the show. I'm going to take the under. This is going to be a 10 p.m. start, I believe, for the WNBA. Missed that early game. Darn it. But there's plenty of action for you guys to check out. So if you haven't seen the K-Prop show there with our guy Sharpie Bets, go back and check that out. We got 5-6 RBI plays loaded up. We got 6-7 K-Props loaded up there. It was a big prop day on the slate. And I appreciate you guys taking the time to hang out here and watch this with us. Make sure you smash that thumbs up button if you haven't done so already. Let's see if we can't fire back, get that unit made up from last night, and have a glorious evening. Enjoy your evening, everybody. Good luck. Get that money. Make sure you smash that thumbs up. Leave a comment after the show. Tell me what your favorite bet is. I don't care if it's tonight or it's a future bet in that fact out there. Good luck to everybody, and good night. We'll see you guys really soon. Take care.